Withdraw.
From the whole beginning, or just on that number 2? And
No, the whole, I want to move 1 to 4, the whole resolution.
move 1 to 4, and like I say, the council...
The word agree is missing out of number 2.
Yeah, so it reads, the council not agree to automatically reappoint Mr Winter for another 3-year term.
Yes.
And number 3, then the council agree to seek the appointment of 3 new trustees.
Yes.
And number 4...
And number 4. Yeah.
Second that.
So if you're happy to so move, I'll ask for a seconder to...
Second that.
Seconded, Councillor Kepper. All those in favour?
Aye.
Aye. Carried. Thank you very much. Moving back now to number 5. Final statements of intents from Destination Great Lake Taupo, Taupo Airport Authority, Bay of Plenty Local Authority Shared Services, Local Authority Shared Services and the New Zealand Local Government Funding Agency. Now can they be taken as one, Ms McLeod?
Yep.
Yes. And they are... Had those separately circulated? You put them as an addendum?
Yeah.
So are there any questions or anything on those final statements of intent for the next year?
So remembering, Mr Chairman, that your time period for commenting on these was in March and April this year. You put comments back to the respective CCOs at the beginning of May. And this is the final coming back for you.
Yep. So if there's no questions on them, everybody's obviously happy with the statements of intent. So on that front page there is a suggested resolution that all the final statements for what I read out be received. They're already being received, they're not necessarily being altered. Move Councillor Johnson, secondly Councillor Downard. All those in favour?
Aye.
Aye. Item number 6 is an application for a licence to occupy part of North Cross Reserve for amusement purposes. Miss Rawley, welcome.
Thank you. With your indulgence,
Yep.
I'd like to move to agenda item number 8. If that's
Okay.
right, I've got some people here who are very interested in agenda
That's
item
fine.
number
We'll
8.
just park agenda item number 16 and we'll go straight to item number 8, which is a lease for dirt jumps, troll park, etc. at the Spa Thermal Park.
I've got Joe Simpson and Connor Halligan with me, and they are from the Taupo Jump Park Incorporated, that's right. And they would like to tell you a little bit about what it is they want to do.
Okay.
But I'll just give you a brief intro first. Okay, the reason I've brought this back in front of you, you would have last dealt with it in February 2011 when you approved an area for a dirt jump park at Spa Park. Now the area that was approved is as shown on the PowerPoint. It wasn't a particularly big area, and I think the reason for that is that the scale may not have been particularly accurate and the size of the park anticipated wasn't very big. Now the guys have gone away and done some more planning, and this is more along the lines of what they're proposing be constructed in that area. Now you can see that it occupies a much larger area of the park than the original plan. Which is
We approved that original one, didn't we?
It was resolved,
Yeah.
yes.
And is that where they built the, what do you call it, the
The pump track.
pump track, is it? Or further bit down? Okay.
The pump track is that brown.
That's the pump track there, right, which we opened about a year or two ago.
Yes.
Yeah, cool.
Yes. So the idea is that the dirt jump park and trials area would essentially occupy the remainder of that grassed area. And that would be the proposed lease area for that. The other reason I brought it back to you is that the original proposal was for a licence to occupy. Now, given the scale and nature of the activity, the degree of investment and management that it will require, I believe a lease is probably a more appropriate mechanism.
Councillor Dannard?
What's the other one? Is that a lease?
It's a licence to occupy.
Licence to occupy.
Yeah.
So
It's
just
arguable.
the reason one has a longer tenure than the other, is it?
Generally speaking, yes. A lease usually has a longer tenure, but it's also a more exclusive use, and it's usually for an area that requires a larger degree of investment and management.
So are you talking about, is this going to be fenced off and only members of some club can use it or something?
No, but it will have to be managed. There will be some areas, and the guys can probably explain this better than I can, there will be some areas that will need to have restricted access for safety reasons.
Because the licence to occupy is a public place. Once you give a lease, you're giving exclusivity to somebody, aren't you?
Well, a lease can be for a public place as well. A licence to occupy is generally where you're giving somebody the right to use something that's already there. They basically just come in, conduct an activity on that spot and then go away again. Whereas a lease, they're actually adding something to the site, they're making improvements and building something on the site. So it's arguable maybe the pump track should have been a lease as well, because they were actually doing improvements and permanently altering that site.
Still all ground though, there's no structural area there though, is there? Where
Other
there will be
than
on
the
this
track
one.
itself.
Because really, at the end of the day, so if the pump track didn't work out or the park doesn't work out, all it is a bulldozer just to flatten the dirt, and it's just back to how it was.
That's the other thing,
really.
The degree of risk is, I guess, countered by the fact that, as Joe says, you can basically just come in and flatten and take it away.
Okay, Councillor Minster, you want a question?
Yeah, Alison, my initial thoughts are the aesthetics of the whole thing, like the other little park, you know, sort of it's obscure, you don't really notice it, but this is obviously quite a major visual down that whole corridor. Is there another spot that would suit that's not so visual? I mean, we're up against it's like a natural park at the moment, and all of a sudden this is like a development, like you're saying, then parts of it have to actually be almost monitored as well.
Like
so, yeah, do you have concerns of that as well, or are you quite happy that we can have that there?
A lot of that comes down to the way it's maintained, the visual appearance of it, and the way it's looked after.
As you see here, this is Gorge Road in Queenstown. This is probably the epitome of dirt jump parks, probably worldwide even. And all the sides and the backs of all the jumps are all nicely manicured, and everyone takes pride in it. And also people respect it a lot more because it does look that much better, rather than just piles of dirt.
This is probably actually a good time for Joe and Connor to take over. So here's the pointer.
Just that was going to leave between.
I think there's one more.
Okay, we'll just leave you with the floor, okay? Yeah. All I want to hear you say at the end is you can make it better than Queenstown's.
Well, actually, after going down there twice this year, I think we probably can, if we can get enough funding, which is really the only concern at this point. And also if we can get a bit more land. Because I think when Jed Milden got it done in 2011, the scale, where is it? Oh, no. Yeah, that one. So it was a little bit off. Like all the dimensions on the drawing were bang on, but on the actual map, they're a little bit out. So I think the size of jumps he wants, he'd probably need at least double the size of that to actually get what he wants really. And we're going to change the whole sort of setup a little bit. Jed, you know what he's like and what he can do. Not everyone can do that, so we're starting a little bit smaller and getting a few more people involved, so then we can eventually work up so other people can do what he can.
As long as you remember to make him your patron, you'll be right, mate.
So there's heaps of dirt jump parks all around the country. There's Taradale, Palmerston North, Huntly, Karori, Tauranga has one, and then of course Queenstown. And we need to get one as well because that's what we're missing out on. We are the cycling capital of the country, but this is the one thing we're missing on. So this is that's also Queenstown. Sponsored. They actually did an event sponsored by Red Bull, and we've actually gone to Red Bull, and they're actually interested in helping us out do an event as well. And Red Bull is sort of the epitome of doing events, and they do a really good job.
So Joe, can I just do it as Joe?
Yep.
Just with those there, they look like kind of concrete. So how does that hold out with rain?
It's clay. It's really, really well packed, but of course it does need a bit of maintenance as well, like all things. But
so heavy rain doesn't wash it away.
No. We've also tarpaulins are used as well to cover the jumps when it's raining.